Welcome to LoveliEsteem. I'm Lovelie, the auntie you always wanted, the sister girlfriend you didn't know you needed, honey. You gotta have self-love to have self-esteem. And here we know that God don't make no junk. So we're gonna sit down, talk about it, and see how we can fix it, baby. Let's do it. Hey guys, this is Lovelie with LoveliEsteem, and today I have Joules Lowell. Let me explain to you why I asked her to be on the podcast today. She and I are on the same journey, like we're like on different pages. Like I might be in where we might be like on a romantic comedy section of a book. She is the heroine busting out, taking people down, and I'm like the girlfriend in the back who's like, you know she gonna fuck you up, right? You know she gonna fuck you. That's me. Okay, so we live in this life where she doesn't know she's out here whipping ass all day, but I am. I'm like, it's gonna be good. No, get your popcorn. Get your popcorn. Let's sit it out. Let's sit it out. But not only is she like TikTok famous with over 500,000 followers for her platforms, social media on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram and TikTok, she's still a real woman's woman. Like she's out here trying to help us through her experiences, live a better life, feel healthy about ourselves, work on our self-esteem, understanding that parenting will make you think that you crazy, and you are. At the same, you like, I'm smart and not smart at the same time. But she's also just like me. When your kids tell you they're hurting, you listen to the kids because they know what they're going through. We've went through this. So like, please welcome Joules Lowell to the platform. I'm so excited to talk to her.
I'm excited to be here.
Thank you. Please introduce the rest of your wonderful life that you're creating for yourself that I love watching.
I am a single mother to two kids, an 18-year-old and a 16-year-old. That is a roller coaster ride without any safety belts. I left an abusive marriage in 2008 with two kids. My kids were under 3, and I had $70 that I borrowed from my sister. I still have not paid it back. And I sort of built a life from ground zero, and all the hardships. I've gone through some stuff. Am I allowed to cuss, or that?
Yes, because I do.
Okay, I have gone through some shit in my life. I should write a book. I have not compiled my thoughts to be able to do that just yet.
It's coming, y'all. It's coming though.
But I've gone through so much, and in an odd way, I wouldn't wish the things that I've gone through on my worst enemy, but I'm thankful for the things that I have gone through because I've met so many wonderful people like yourself, and I've been able to help people. I have written 2 books, but it's under my birth name. This surprise, this isn't my real name, but they're under my birth name. They were really horrible. They're not really good. My first try. But just trying to put myself out there. I did a little bit of acting up until the pandemic, and life sort of took a different turn, which I'll answer on one of your questions on this list. Once you get to it, so I'm not going to go into it just yet, but that's just who I am, and I aspire to be, like you said, a woman's woman. I have people on my YouTube channel getting upset because I come on looking like a mess or I'm cussing. And I made a video today on my YouTube channel where I said there is no respectability politics on my social media. This is where we come. You can come with your hair done or makeup on, or you can come with a bonnet on and your nightgown on. We're cussing, we're kicking our shoes off. There are no rules. There's none of that here. So that's what I grew up in, the country in Pine Bluff, Arkansas. I am country, and country folks have the door open and everybody's invited. So that's my policy. That's just kind of who I am.
No, and I love that because that's the whole reason why I started this podcast. It's called Healing Through Conversations. And one of my big icks is when people correct you when you're expressing yourself, because I'm like, listen, it takes so much courage to voice your opinion, knowing that it may not be accepted. And having someone walk in and change your grammar, and change your phonetics and change how you articulate yourself is so difficult. One of the things that I do that I'm really big on is learning how to articulate yourself, not in a way that's very like, you don't have to be whitewashed or you're not speaking Black or proper or any of these things. It's being able to get your emotions and your thoughts out, because then you can advocate for yourself. You can talk to your doctor, your clinician, your best friend, your girlfriends, your husbands, whoever, and say, hey, this is how I'm feeling today. Can we work with this? Can you help me with this? Is there something I can do to feel better about myself?
Right.
But when you come to somebody and I'm like, Joules, I feel shitty today, and you say, oh my God, like, why are you dressed like that?
The grammar, the cussing.
How am I supposed to feel comfortable being open? That's like, you shut the conversation down at the beginning. Like, you know, the only thing I will say, my caveat to that is, if we're both crying, we have to stop talking, because it's horrible, man. We both trying to, I'm like, oh, hey, wait. One of us gotta get it together just a little bit. I'm like, because we're gonna have that conversation where it just sounds like when you with your girlfriends and you're like, like what's happening?
And snot is coming out.
I spread my nose, my lips get bigger, my eyes start. I'm like, I look like a blowfish, and I can't.
Oh my gosh! You know what? I actually had on one of my videos, somebody tallied up. They wrote each cuss word and put a tally mark by each cuss word, and they were like, "Just so you know, this is how many times you use these cuss words." And my reply was, "Well, this is how many times I want you to fuck off," and I put 1. Like the audacity,
the policing of people, because, and you know, and what I learned is that it's so funny. I say all the time, is that you speaking to yourself, or is that someone else's voice who told you you were wrong when you spoke like that? Because we have this problem where we always want to correct people, but it's not even us. Like, who we are is like, say whatever you gotta say. Instead of saying, you should say what you have to say in the best manner possible. Do that 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. Okay, I can be proper. I can use my grandma voice when I'm on the phone with the bill collectors. I can do all those things. But at the end of the day, our grandmother still got it fixed. We still got it fixed. I mean, I'm not disrespecting you or your grandmama. I'm just expressing how I feel the same way you do. You come on, you say what you got to say, and then you be like, peace out, and then you leave. But I'm like, she don't even know the carnage she left behind. People be like, oh my God, what?
And that's the thing. That's the thing I was asking you about, that you can help me. I just now accepted that this is how I am. But everybody keeps saying that I'm so harsh and bold. And I'm like, am I? Maybe I am.
The truth. You're telling the truth. See, this is the difference. You have honesty. Honesty usually comes out like, you could do better for yourself if you would A, B, and C. Telling the truth is, bitch, you know he bad for you, right? And so that's weird. So just listen to yourself when you're talking. You be up here, you be like, listen, I know that you can do better. I know that we deserve better. I know that the life that we're living right now it's like when you said, hey, listen, I want somebody in my life who already has life skills. You didn't even ask for a lot. You were just asking for life skills.
The bare, yeah.
You were saying, hey, if you know how to cook, clean, fold clothes, go to the laundromat by yourself if you have to, drive, you have a job, a place, because my place and your place is 2 different addresses. I mean, I love you though. Like, then we can be together. But if you have no life skills, and then you want to come suck the light out of my life skills, I'm not your girl. There are other women in this world, other people in this world who will take you in and love you. I am not her. And sometimes I think it's because, you know, when we talk about pretty privilege, when you're a good looking woman and people are intimidated, they try to figure out what they can do to minimize the things that make your light shine bright. So they come after your life skills. They come after your career. They come after, you know, aging. They come after the things that all they know is like, I'm going to say to you, I'm going to tell you're going to be old and alone. That hurt. Okay. All right. You're not going to be pretty forever. Sorry, son, that's not going to work. But okay. Nobody's going to ever want you. But did I ask you for a date, sir? Did I ask you? You know, and I think that that's you tell the truth. You just come from a very gut, honest place. And you're just like, listen, I spent a lot of lifetime doing stuff for other people, neglect, abuse, disparity. I know all those spots. So I can take you into a dark space if you want me to, but I'm trying to give you a little bit of light. And that's what I see that you give them. That's what I see coming out of you.
That, you know what, I think I honestly feel like I'm just emulating. I mean, I've had all kinds of races, you know, influence me, but I'm mostly emulating the Black women who, when I was in abusive relationships, they were not there for the bullshit. Listen, I love you, but we've been talking about this same shit every day, and I don't have time for it. When you want to leave, give me a call. We can figure, but we're not going to meet up and talk about this relationship every day. The Black women who were like, you're fucking up, who flat out were like, what you're doing is stupid, but they weren't abusing me. Does that make sense?
Yes.
It wasn't from a place of abusing me and putting me down. They very much love me and do whatever for me. One of them delivered food to me during the pandemic. I was in a car accident, needed help. I know these women love me. So I think that that's pretty much what I'm doing. Because when you see somebody in danger, if you see somebody walking headfirst into traffic, are you going to be like, hey, you might want to move? No. So if I see you ruining your life, and I've been there, I've done that, I know, and you can't just bullshit me and tell me anything, I'm going to be like, hey, you're fucking up. But that's not well received by a lot of people.
Well, I feel like it's not well received by a lot of people who don't understand where you're trying to take them. Like when you understand the context of a conversation and the intent of the message, it changes, because you would not have this many people following you. And honestly, you know, they always say hurt dogs holler, right? And you be out there with a stick, what? Just taking it to the heat. I'm like, oh, she woke up and said, today I choose violence. And then I'm going to give you a beautiful makeup look, and I'm going to go to Target.
I got to soften the blow some way. I mean, you know,
but I think that's like one of the wonderful things. You show flaws in all. You're like, I'm a whole person, and this full person, I have successes, I've had failures, but I'm grateful for what I have, and this is how I got there. This is how people showed love to me, and I'm going to give you that love back. And I think with regards to especially Black women who love you, we are willing to collar you. We're going to pull you up.
Oh, yeah.
And be like, listen, I know you love him. I'm not saying that you don't love him. What I'm saying is that we're going to fuck him up, and you going to have to leave. So I'm going to need you to pack your bags, cry all the way there, pack all your stuff up. You're going to come stay with me for a little bit. If he comes to my house, it's not going to be pretty. So, I'm doing this because I need you to I need you to see what I see in you. I see strength. I see beauty. I see kindness. I see how intelligent you are. I see that you really are a fighter. You just need a chance to like not be in this abusive space,
right?
This oppressive space, so that you can rise up. Right. And you know, systemically, we're taught that that's the best space to be in.
Right.
Right. And you said the courage it takes for a woman who has been abused to leave. I think in people's head, they just think you just pack your bags and like you walk out the house and nothing else is happening. You're leaving in the middle of a tsunami, hurricane on the way behind you. You don't know how you're going to get to your car. It's all kinds of crazy shit is happening. Right. And at the same time, your mind is telling you, because you've been abused for so long, that what you're doing is not right. We're going to be safer here. He's going to love me tomorrow. She's going to love me tomorrow. They were just having a really bad time. You know, maybe I did something wrong. If I was just a stronger woman, if I was more submissive woman, if I was Black, if I was white, if I was Asian, it's like, so what do you do then? And that's what I see. That's how I see you. Like the power of conversation, right? How you present yourself is how they would see you at Target. It's how they would see you at the concert. It's how they see you. And I love authentic women, and I love bossy women. You're a bossy woman. I know. And I laugh because when they talk about like friendships you're attracted to, people who you just see and you're like, I would sit down and have a conversation with her. I would sit down and have a conversation, and we would wind up talking to the people at the table next to us.
Yeah. Oh, y'all want to join? Come on, sit over here. Or I'll be over at their table, you know. The table's getting pushed together. Yep.
And that's what I see in you. I see you have your light is brighter than a lot of people negative comments to you. Like I know you hear them and you see them, and sometimes that shit stings. It does. It's like we're human. But you say, oh, and you crack your knuckles and be like, get this video together.
Oh my goodness. You know, I honestly, if I know I can be vulnerable here, I thought I had autism. I thought something was severely wrong with me because for so long people would tell me, you're so harsh, you're so aggressive, and sometimes it's too much. And I'm like, what? Like, I think I'm sitting here talking to my best friend and people are like, you're so harsh. And I'm like, really? Like, I thought maybe I'm autistic and maybe I don't have a filter or something. Because to me, it's not that harsh. I don't know, maybe because I've gone through it before, but I've had people get angry with me. I've had people tell me I don't know what I'm talking about. I've had people say I hurt their feelings or whatever the case may be. And that hurts me because that is my intention is, like you said, I see great things. That's all I want. And I'm just like, come on, why don't you get it? But not a lot of people receive it. Like, I'm going to be on one of my other mutuals podcasts soon, and she made a post about it. And she screenshot what people were saying, and they're like, "Oh yeah, she hits hard. She's to the I can't wrap my mind around it. I'm just like, really? Okay. But I'm starting to finally own it. It is what it is. I had a massage therapist last month who doesn't know me randomly say, "You were sent here to deliver karma to people. If they're doing something they're not supposed to do or hiding something you say or do is going to bring that out. And that's why people may not like you." And I was like, oh, okay.
So is there a camera? What's here?
But it makes sense. And I'm starting to own it because, like you said, those who are meant to hear it are going to hear it. Everybody else, they're just not ready. Because I was once not ready. And I once thought somebody was being mean to me. So, you know, you made me realize that just now. That was an aha moment. So I get it.
It is. It's one of those things where I think when we talk about like self-reflection, right? So you said 2008, you got out of an abusive relationship, right? Mm-hmm. And it takes what? The amount of time the length of time that you're with that person. So you figure if you were with that person for 10 years, 10 years. So 2018 is when your brain said, oh, we're safe. Because it's not like you get out of a relationship like that and you don't relive the memories. It's not like your brain doesn't make you think, you sure we don't still love them? It's not like it's all these different, and you have to grieve the loss of the relationship that you thought you were going to have. I had these 2 babies. We were going to create this life. In my head, I had this life we were going to live. In his head, he had this life we were going to live. And then real life happened. So you have all this wealth of knowledge, and it probably comes out harsh because what the things we can't talk about in real life: grieving, death, abuse, neglect, despair. Everything has to be pretty and curated. Everything needs to be put in a really pretty package. We don't talk about those things outside of our household, do we, Joules? We don't do that. So when you start opening up the door and letting all of the garbage fall out, they're like, well, hey.
Right.
And I think that that's what you did. You told the truth, and that truth hurts. Not always, but when you've ignored the truth for so long, and sometimes I think maybe you hurt people's feelings because they saw things happening and they didn't come to your defense. They thought something different. So when you said, hey, this is what's happening, right, and they said, no, it didn't. And you said, I know you saw me. but I was there. I was. You know, that's silence, right?
Right.
You know, right. So it's like, so let's ask the first question. What's your best advice on how to deal with failure?
Ooh, I've had a lot of that in my lifetime. My best advice for failure is thinking about, I actually got this from Oprah. She's not in a good spot right now.
Hey. But we're not plugging her. We're just
I got it from her. But she just said, what is your next step? Just think about your next step. I once got fired from a job because my boss was racist, and he didn't like the fact that they hired a Black assistant manager of his store. So he got me fired. And all I could do was think about, what do I need to do today to fix this? Step number one, I need income. So I need to be looking for a job. How many applications do I need to put in per day? Or, just anything in life, even a breakup. I'm just like, what do I need to do today to make myself feel better? Okay, I need to go to sleep today. Okay, so all day I'm going to go to sleep. So just breaking everything down. What is the first step? And then when you get to that first step, what is the next step? And then when you just thinking in terms of steps, what do I need to do to make this better or to change this situation? So always just, what is the next step, and doing that first, focusing on that.
I love that. About being present, because a lot of the times when bad things happen to us, or sometimes when it's not just bad, when it's horrific, I know for me, I used to disassociate. There's gaps in my life that I cannot even tell you about, because unless if you tell me a moment, I can kind of unwrap a little bit of it. But whatever God gave me, the ancestors said, no, she will not remember this one. They put that down. They said, close that box. Not for that day. But it makes it so that you're not present, because you're like, oh my God, 3 months from now, and I only have rent for 3 months. What am I going to do in 3 months? And you're saying, hey, you got to be available today. What's happening today? And I love shut down, go to sleep, rejuvenate your mind, let your stressors calm themselves down, your hormones are all over the place, because it's not only just getting fired, it's rejection, it's misunderstanding, it's a lack of communication, it's boundaries that you're like, but I was kind to you. I went out of my way to be kind to you. And you're still just, why are you this way? Sometimes you want to stop and be like, so tell me about your child.
Right. Oh my goodness.
And my therapist said, stop trying to understand people who you would not do the same thing to. And I said, you don't have to insult me like that. I was just trying to be
harsh.
Therapists be giving it to you. They like, oh, so you came and sat in my chair for an hour and you think I'm going to rub your kneecaps and tell you it's going to be okay? A good therapist had you crying.
Yeah, that's what mine does every time. I don't even wear makeup to her sessions anymore. And something else I wanted to add is always remembering and reminding myself that it's not always going to feel like this. Anytime I have been heartbroken or failed, every day when I am in my saddest moment, I say to myself, I am not always going to feel like this. It will feel better eventually. And then eventually I'm looking back like, oh, remember when I thought I was going to die? I'm feeling better now. So I just always remind myself it's not always going to feel like this right now. And I say it to myself like a chant all the time during
And you
hard
say it
times.
in your videos too. You do. You really said you give a lot of solid advice. A lot of the advice that you give, it isn't fluffy advice. It's like, these are the things that you're going to need to be able to do in order to make a meal. These are the things you're going to need to do in order to help your children. These are the things you're going to need to be able to do in order to not, in order to like be able to see through somebody's like lovely personality to the real person that they are. Like I've seen what the devil looks like, and I'm letting you know that these are the attributes that these people have, the characteristics, the traits. And I think it scares people sometimes, because if you're sitting next to somebody who's doing that to you while you're watching a video like this,
Yeah.
and they're listening too, because they're trying to figure out, oh, wait a minute, who's this lady? She's trash. I don't think you should talk to her. So then the woman writes, you're trash. And it's like, is it you or is it Daniel talking? Blink twice.
Right.
Twice.
Exactly.
So what's a flaw in yourself what's a flaw you see in yourself that you're currently working on?
I think I want things too badly for people. Like I have a mutual that she pulled me to the side once and she was like, you can't force people to leave these marriages if they don't want to. And I'm like, okay, I get it, because I'm still going to talk how I want to talk. I'm still going to tell the truth. But sometimes I take it personally. Like if a woman comments and I'm talking about something toxic and she's like, well, I think it's fine, I take it personally.
Okay.
I'm like, you may as well have called my mama a bitch at this point. Like, I wish I could just like, what's wrong? Like, why don't you see it? And I have to stop doing that. Like, I can still feel compassion and feel bad for people and put my message out there. But my flaw is, when it's not working, it's just not working. If Sue Ellen and Joanne don't want to accept it, okay, that's fine. That's totally fine. You do you. Because I have to remember, I was once those people who didn't want to hear, oh, I love cooking for my husband every day. I love doing everything. I love it. And I was falling apart. I was falling apart. But I thought I was better than women who didn't take care of their men. I really did. So embarrassing. But I was falling apart on the inside. So just constantly reminding myself to just remember that version of me. I was there. They think this is working for them. So I have to let it go. Just like the people in my life, I had friends who stopped talking to me because I just couldn't get it. And they couldn't bear to have front row seats to it. So they just had to release me, and they just had to let it go. So I do think I take things like that too personally, because I don't want anybody hurt, but my platform is for women. I don't want to see women hurt. I don't want anyone going through the horrible stuff that I went through. Yes, you can leave and, blah, 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 but I don't want you to have to get to that. I don't want you to get in situations where that has to happen. So I think that's my big flaw.
Yeah, which is not a flaw, because your compassion runneth over, where a lot of people don't have that compassion. Like you're the person who jumps in and helps versus the person who records what's happening. And that is something that a lot of us don't see. And I think you have to experience compassion in order for you to be able to give it out sometimes, and self-reflection, again, things that you have to like center yourself, like, hey, I know that what I'm saying is good, but where was I on day 452 in my marriage when I thought that this was okay? When I thought that, where I started listening to people tell me that I wasn't doing enough. I wasn't being tidy enough. I should be stronger. He's just having a bad day, and maybe you said something that was wrong. Maybe you need to give him some more time to, to relax when he comes home. maybe it's not the same as it used to be. You know, when you get married and then the honeymoon stage.
Word for word.
Oh, look, I tell people all the time, yes, I've been with the same person since I was 14. And yes, we have been married for 20 plus, together for 30 plus. If you think I haven't gone through, I have not been in an abusive physical, but we both have had times where we've said some shit out our mouths, where our dysfunctional, like behind the scenes craziness started coming out. And you had to address that shit right away. Like, hey, we're not going to talk to each other. Or sometimes abuse looks like not arguing. Like we spent easily 5 years of not saying, if something crazy happened, it's like it never happened. It I'm going to go to the market and buy some food. The children will be here to eat. You leave. You don't ever rectify the situation. You never attack the issue. You're just trying to skirt around this big ass elephant. It's bright pink sitting in the room, and you never deal with it. So like, you can be in a marriage and not be abused in the sense of what the world thinks.
Right.
But because we're all growing, like my husband was 13 and a half. What did we know at 13 and 14?
Yeah.
Girl, like what did I know at 34? So like, it's just like, so being in a relationship, as long as we've experienced a lot of things, but I will say that the forefront for us has been friendship. Friendship is more important to me than romantic relationships every day, all day, which is weird coming from a married person, because
I've heard it before. Yeah, I love that.
If I was not friends with him, if I didn't love him as a person, if I didn't want to see him happy without me, we wouldn't have made this work out. And I think that that's one of the things that I see in you. You're like, hey, if we can be friends, we can make it to the can you go out on a date with me conversation. But if I don't like you, why are you talking to me?
Exactly. Exactly. I love that you said that you value friendship over relationships, because back when I was in an abusive marriage, like I said, I lost so many friends trying to defend that bullshit. And now that that is over, I still to this day find myself missing those people. And some of them are in my life, but it's just not the same anymore, because I just ruined I burned that whole bridge. And that's one of the things that I talk about too, at least lately, is trying to get women like, hey, you know what? You say women are full of drama. I get it. Your best friend in college wore the same outfit as you and flirted with your boyfriend. Okay, both of us need to get our shit together. We have to be a community, because as we've seen, at the end of the day, we got each other and we need each other. Enough with the excuses. I get it. But we need to be friends. We need to come together, because whenever I talk about women developing relationships, you should see the comment section. Well, women are catty. Women are full of drama. I can't. I don't want to hear it. We need to fix it.
Yes, I go to your comment section first. I see a video and I be like, oh, she scratched somebody. She peeled off a scar. But I go to the comment section. I'm like, this is not giving what it was supposed to give.
Because I can't. One of the quickest ways to get on my nerves. I heard Steve Harvey actually say this. He says, when I come up with a new idea, there's two types of people: the people who tell me why it can't be done, and the people who tell me how it can be done. So if I'm coming to you and saying, hey, ladies, we need to build a community, there's two types of people. Women are catty, women are this, women are that. And you know what? You are right. You know what? I'm going to go join this group or do this thing. I like those people. These people are set. I can't help them, but I can work with these people. I know what the problem is. You don't have to tell me about patriarchy, misogyny. You don't have to. I know what the problem is. My thing is, this is the problem. How are we going to fix it now? Or here's my suggestions on how we can fix it. Can we do that?
But I think you have such, especially the conversation around womanhood and sisterhood and what that looks like. I think sometimes people get so stuck on looks, and they get stuck on this whole like divisive divide. And it's like, hey, listen, I always say my mom and her best friend, my mom's black, her best friend's white. D will cut your eyes out if you mess with my mama. Just that is her thing.
That's
That
a friendship.
but that's their friendship. And they've been friends for like 20, 25, 30 years. Ups, downs, goods, bads, whatever. You know, they've had times where like they won't talk to each other, but they'll send each other like ignorant memes to each other through text messages. It's hilarious, like the passive aggressiveness, but it's because they're so connected. And I'm like, I love being a woman. First off, I love being a woman. I love having the option to be dressed up or dressed down, to be happy or sad. I love being a Black woman, very niche down, because I love
it's like an
I love being able
club.
to wear I love the color yellow, and we just rock yellow so well. Like, but I love the fact that we have this. Our hair can be different. Our lips can be different, and a lot of the world emulates us. Now, what you don't want to be Black, you want the traits, the goodness of the Black, right? But in understanding that, you understand that you're also going to have people who are not Black who want to be your friends, and blocking them off simply because they don't look like you may take away that the part of your journey that you were supposed to be on, understanding diversity for real in sisterhood, and having that nuance of, listen, I want you to understand where I'm coming from, and I want to understand where you're coming from, because some of your ignorance may be because you never had a chance to ask the question, and vice versa. I may be saying something about you that's not correct, you know? And I think that like that's the yin and the yang, especially with social media. You know, a lot of our mutuals don't look like us. You know, and
I got a bowl of Fruit Loops in my mutual.
And I'm being a Fruit Loop girl. I love it. But I'm like, we get to talk to people from like diverse backgrounds who ask you they don't try to make a video to call you out to ask you a question. They send you like a message like, hey, you said.
Right.
And that to me is like, yes, okay, we're going to have a dialogue. You know, it's not to like post it back as a video and this is what she said about. Like, no, let's.
I love that you said that, because like I said, naturally my whole Black women are going to watch my content because we see who we relate to. But I have all kinds of women who follow me, and I'll say this: I posted a compilation video of women on their wedding day getting cake smashed in their face. Now, I honestly was not paying attention. Realized that all the clips were white women. So I posted the video. Black women were commenting saying, it couldn't be me. That would never happen to me. So I made a video and I said, actually, since we're talking about this, it is us at alarming rates. We're getting murdered and abused at alarming rates, more so than the white women were making fun of in my comment section. So let's not do that. We're all in the same boat, and Black women even more so. So it might not be cake in the face, but we're getting murdered, we're getting cheated on. Black women have the highest rate of contracting HIV. So let's not do that. So that was kind of another way of me, like you said, trying to get us to stop. I'm better. No, baby, no. We need all this. I get it. I would never. I'm tough. I'm strong. Statistics say otherwise. Black women can be victims and we need help. And we have to start being honest about that. And we have to start talking about that. Or the numbers are going to keep going up. And even if it's not you, it's your sister, it's your cousin, it's your mom, or it will be you in a future relationship. So I 100% agree to that point. I feel like if women could get on the same page, we could turn this world upside down. Man, but I really wanted to address that. And I tried to be so careful when I was talking about it, but I felt like it was an important conversation to have, because I get that a lot from us as Black women of what we would never do and never allow. And that's something white women, no. What I have seen in my life and what I have experienced tell me differently. So let's not be looking down on other people and putting on this tough act. because we need support. And it also plays into this whole idea that was made up by a racist doctor that Black women don't feel pain. So when you come on here talking about I'm strong, I'm tough, never, I would never, I would never, I would never, you're playing into that idea that we don't need help, we can't be victimized, and we don't feel pain. So you're not helping. So one thing about me, I don't know if you've noticed this, if there's a breakdown, I'ma have it. If there's a tear, I'ma cry it. If there's a moment when I need help, I'ma ask for it. You know, if there's a time to be vulnerable, I'ma be it, because I want the world to know Black women need help. We feel things, we hurt, we cry, and that is okay. I want us to rebrand Black women. We're great. Don't get me wrong.
Looks like
we're great. Yes.
Like,
but
rebrand that.
Like rebranding us as far as, can we just be honest and say we hurt and things bother us and we have issues and we're victimized and we need help? Can we do that? Like, not necessarily rebrand, but just kind of adding that.
The nuances, adding character,
taking away
to who we are.
Right, and taking away the strong Black woman stereotype.
I'm not strong Black woman.
We can be strong. I get it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying we're not strong.
Yes.
But I'm just saying we're human just like everybody else. So I want to help add that vulnerability into the mix of the equation, and honesty, because a lot of us are not being honest. We're still trying to be tough. I'm nothing phases me. I'm unbothered, baby. You are bothered.
The fact that you had to come at me for 22 minutes to tell me what I did wrong meant that I really ruffled your feathers in a way that I did not even prepare to do so.
Right.
And I tell people all the time, I'm a woman and I'm Black and I can be strong. I can be all those things. But I had to realize a couple of things. I was coming from the strong Black woman trope because I only knew how to survive. I went through a lifetime of, I tell people all the time, I was saying to my youngest child, girlfriend always says, I don't want to have resting bitch face. And I suffer from resting bitch face. It is a disorder that I carry with me like a badge of honor. I don't even want it. But I spent a lot. I said, you cannot go from the minute your body starts to develop as a Black girl. It is something, the attention that you get. The women are telling you that you're fast and that you're grown and that you're disrespectful. And really it's because they see you as a threat, because they know the men that they're with. And then the men look at you as sexualized. They the drama, like they make who you are as a person somehow now becomes this like spitfire, this sapphire. I'm now this, I now have this energy about me that is going to seduce your husband into doing these things at 8. Bitch, I didn't want this ass. Okay. It's with the family.
Right.
So, so you spend a lot of years, and I always say I speak in I statements. I spent a lot of years with a stoic, strong type personality because that was the only way I didn't look vulnerable or like a victim in the neighborhoods that I grew up in. So I spent from probably easily 8 until 22, 23 with that. My stress levels were high. My hormones were off the fucking charts because I didn't have safe spaces to be calm. And then when I became quote unquote a woman, the creepy guy started calming down because I was no longer this innocent Virgil, character in the book who was going to allow them to do these things to me. But you don't automatically go from playing this badass, strong Black woman. It's not, you're trying to survive. You don't even know what thriving looks like. All you know how to do is protect yourself. And what do you do when you're trying to protect yourself as a child who went through like sexual assault or stress? You gain weight because you think if I look uglier, quote unquote, but you don't, you just look better because all of that yumminess. But you gain weight so you can look unattractive. You make sure that your face always look like you're angry. You try to be combative because you want to make it so that nobody wants to talk to you because you're scared. You're like, what the fuck am I doing here? Why can't I just leave my car and go into the store and not be assaulted verbally?
Right.
Or be standing next to a woman who looking at you nasty because her husband's looking at you nasty. Like, I wasn't a strong Black woman. I was trying to survive, bitch. I was trying to get to my car and cry.
Right.
That's what I was trying to do.
Yeah. And now we just have to work to change that, because
Yes.
it's not serving us, it's killing us.
Absolutely.
Look at the health statistics with heart disease and diabetes.
Cancer.
Emotions can cause sickness. That's why we got to get out of these bad relationships, but emotions can cause illness. So we know the why, our ancestors, what they went through, all the stuff they went through, and then they have a bunch of health problems that now have been passed down to us. Yes. So we just got to turn that around. I saw somebody post a while ago that they don't cry on the internet, and they're not going to be on the internet having a breakdown. And my question was, why not? Why? Who's gonna judge you? Who cares? So
but some people care a lot about what other
right.
people think about them.
And I don't. That's the crazy thing about me. That's what gets me in so much trouble. I've had people like, why do you tell that kind of stuff? And I'm like, well, first of all, it's my story. If you don't want to tell your business, then you don't tell yours. This is my story. I'm going to tell it. I don't know. I'm just an open book. That's just how I am. But yeah, we've got to kind of, that's why I love your content, because your content has me, I'll be scrolling and I'm like, oh, that's good. I love that. And I'll comment and say, I love that, But we do need more vulnerability. And I get it. I don't want to be bothered when I'm out either. I strive to look like a bitch when I'm out. I don't talk to me when I'm out. But, in the right setting, we have to be honest, vulnerable, and realize at the end of the day, yes, racism exists. I'm not saying that doesn't exist. I understand there's Karens. I get it. But at the heart of the matter, we all getting abused and taken advantage of, and nobody should be looking down on anybody else.
I love that. And we have to remember, it's not just Karens, there's also Keishas. Because within our own culture.
But the thing with Karens is Karens can get us killed and put in jail and all.
You're right.
But there are Keishas. My mom is one of them.
And I always say, like, if you live in a space where, I always say, you have a lot of people that I still meet now who've never traveled outside of the 5-mile radius of where they live. Everything is done. So like when you take them further out from what they're used to, they like revert back to what television has told them, and sometimes they attack within our own community. We attack each other because it's like, oh my God, you're from the city, or you're from the county. Oh, well, you're from Atlanta. Oh, well, you're from New York. It's like, hey, when I see you, I recognize like. I see a Black woman. I want to compliment you. I want to high five your ass. I want to big you up. And even if you're not a Black woman, when I see you, I want to tell you that I love your skirt. I love your hair. I love your earring. I want to leave you with something positive to build you up, because so many times life has made it so we're competing with each other. We're not even competing with each other. Okay. Most of the time you think, oh, she wore that dress because she's trying to get my husband. I didn't think about your husband.
I wore it because I think I look good.
I was feeling good today. So, because I always say, when people say, on the internet, when they say stuff like, oh my gosh, she looks so much better thinner, or she's fat, I'm like, yo, 2 weeks ago, she could have lost 5 pounds and she feels so good about herself, and she decided to wear her dress. You don't know where people are in their journey. Or she could have lost weight because she's going through chemo. Or she could, you know what I mean? So like, learning when to shut the fuck up. It's so positive.
Yes. Yes.
And believe it or not, vulnerability is one of the strongest characteristics and traits you can have, because you need strength, and you need some like God-given strength to be vulnerable.
That's where the strength is to me. I agree with that statement, because you have to get over the fear of being judged and what people are going to be. I don't want to say I'm the black sheep, but let's just say the first time that my family heard of the word gaslighting was from me. Like, I'm introducing all these terms, and I'm like, no, wait a minute, we're finna talk. We're not finna do this no more. Like, I'm that person. Even my dad, oh my God, he's come a long way. I remember I was younger and I said, Dad, can we talk? And he said, we're not white. I'm like, Dad, that's not a white
Now
thing to do.
that's how it
Talk.
works.
Like, what the fuck is going on? Like, what happened? We, like you said, we as Black people have spent so much time just trying to survive. We still got to survive, that there was really no time to slow down and have feelings. What do you mean feelings? We gotta not die today. We gotta not get murdered today. We can talk about feelings later, maybe, probably never, but we gotta survive today. So I totally understand that. But now I feel like we gotta survive. I understand we gotta balance that plate. But if we don't balance the plate of vulnerability, we're gonna kill ourselves eventually.
Absolutely. And also, I think one of the things that I studied when I was trying to get certified in different mental health, different health courses, and doing some, I loved my peer-to-peer courses, because when you do a lot of peer-to-peer certifications, because the people have already gone through it, it's like going to the House of Ruth here in Maryland. Women who have been abused or in abusive situations usually come back and help mentor and talk to other women who are going through that, because sometimes it's like going to the pediatrician and they never had a kid and you've had a kid. So like your language is off. It just is just a little bit less. But having conversations with people and realizing that thriving to a lot of people is so scary, because if all you've ever been taught is this like survival trope, like this is what we're surviving. You know, we got to make it. You got to struggle. You got to struggle to keep your house. You got to struggle to keep your car. You got to struggle to keep your relationship. Struggle love, struggle finances, struggle. No. So when you get to a part when you have to really focus on thriving, when you have enough money in the bank to pay your bills for the next 3 months, when you are in a relationship with somebody who wants to have conversations about growth, emotional intelligence, it can scare you if you don't know what that looks like.
Very true.
You know, so like I think that a lot of us are we get to the point where like you flip that 51% where now you're in thriving and you're like, what do we do here?
What I posted a video yesterday on YouTube where I said, even back then, if I had met a good man, I still would have fucked it up, because I wasn't ready for that. And people were like, no, you would have been ready. No, bitch, calm down. Let me talk. I would have fucked it up. You don't know. I was toxic too. I had a lot of growing to do. A good man, a truly healthy man, would not have put up with my shit back then. Please understand.
Speak on it. Oh my God, speak. Listen, you made me shut up because my brain had to reboot. I said, yes, talk about, my brain said, oh my God, somebody told the truth.
One of the best compliments I got was a woman saying, she watched that video and she said, that's how I know you really don't hate men, because you're making us check ourselves too. And I'm like, thank you.
Statements. We all have our shit. We all have our shit, and we bring it into a relationship, and we think, because I used to say all the time, and I was that woman. I'm like, my marriage isn't as bad as that marriage because we don't hit each other. Bitch, you said some trifling stuff out your mouth that he should have came back with it, but it didn't. And I tell people all the time, I love my husband because, one, he's my best friend. I always want good for him, even if I'm not in it. Like, I don't need to be a part of his happiness in order for it to be happy.
Right.
But I respect the fact that throughout our relationship, he's never spoken to me in a way that made me have to question who I was. Now his tone is 90s. He's like DMX-ish. Like, he'd be like, I love you. And you'd be like, you're so aggressive with your love. Like, it's just so, it's like there. Like, rap got him hard and he can't get out. But a lot of our issues, especially early on in our marriage, was because he had an idea of how his wife was going to be. And because he had never even thought about a wife until, like, you know, like we were just boyfriend and girlfriend. And then we had a baby. And then we had another baby. And then we had another baby. And then he was like, I think we should get married because we already did all the baby stuff.
Right.
And at that time, I was like, I mean, why? Like, why should we get married? We already have the kids. What's the difference? And we were like, well, your car insurance goes down. And like honestly, being very honest, like marriage, I wanted to get married when I was younger because in my head, I was like, I'm going to have a husband. We're going to make $80,000 together. We're going to have a house. We're going to have 1 or 2 kids. And we're going to travel the world. That was my thought. I didn't know that in that came like disagreements, how you were raised, if you were raised by 2 parents and 1 parent, if both parents were healthy, because you could have 2 parents in a household and have one that's not healthy, and it still throws you off the same way not having a parent in that house will do to you, And I remember thinking to myself, when I matured in our marriage, I was like, the fact that we made it this far without like just annihilating each other's self-esteem. Because
but y'all were young when y'all met though, so that's different. But
it's still but when you try to explain that to people, and that's one of the things I really want to delve into a little bit more on TikTok when they talk about relationship things, is what happens when you started dating so young that you didn't even develop a personality?
Right.
Because sometimes you get stuck. You're going to go through bad times simply because you both don't know.
Y'all are both immature and you don't know what you're doing at that point. Your brains are not developed.
When they say 27, I'm like, you mean 37? Because I'm 47 and I'm still feeling a little tingly in the front sometimes. So,
and quite honestly, my friends who met in high school and junior high are still together. So there's got to be something there to that. I've always thought about that in the back of my mind, that I need to give that disclaimer because, there's a difference in y'all are bashing heads at 30 and then y'all are 14 and 16 and 18. Y'all don't know what y'all are doing. Y'all are both growing, brains not developed yet. It's new. Everything is new. That's a totally different hard time than like later in life, and we're hard times and we just don't need to be together no more. Totally different.
I agree with you. It was like there were so many mistakes that I hold myself accountable for, not in the sense of if I would have done better, because we're human. And those flaws are I still say this, the things that used to irritate us about each other are the things that saved our marriage. It's that pig-headedness, like, okay, so we're not doing good right now. And I've been with you for a real long time. Okay. I'm not showing nobody else my belly fat. We gonna figure this out. Okay. Like I'm not you and me drop these titties for who? Cause they not level no more. Okay. Like I'm good. We're gonna sit here and talk about it. But because I'm like, I want to be honest. That whole like perfect body, perfect wife, perfect husband, perfect children, perfect house.
I don't do that.
If I walk in your house and it's chaotic, I feel comfortable. I'm like,
I don't want to go to your house and be like, oh, I can't touch anything. Okay. I'm gonna want to go.
I don't. So what is a mistake that you made in the past that you've learned from? And in learning that, how has it helped you now?
I think I projected my idea of what I wanted onto people versus accepting the truth of who they are. This is with men, this is with friends. And one of my old district managers once told me that I was dating another store manager. I used to manage a jewelry store and she found out about it. She was cool. And I was just telling her all the shit he was doing and, well, it's going to work out. She's like, you know what? You project your idea of what you want onto these men. And that's why none of this shit's working out. I'm like, bitch, first of all, I didn't ask you for your fucking opinion. I'm gonna need you to shut the fuck up before I report you to HR.
Ponytail off in front of
you. You're too loud. Okay, that's a workers' comp issue. My eardrums are probably busted out. First of all, second of all, but it was so true. It was so true. And to be honest with you, and I know I could do that. I didn't fully come into being able to 100% confidently say, you know what, I will be a good woman to a good man until last year. That's when I felt fully cooked. And it was really because of that. Like I was still very much in this rom-com. I'm in a rom-com, this is Disney. I'm gonna get my white picket fence, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. If a guy was being shitty to me, that's okay. I'm looking at the good in him versus the consistently awful.
Yeah.
To veer off, I get criticism for not constantly talking about green flags and good things to look for in relationships all the time. But there's a method to my madness. I know how we can be, but I know how I was. When I was in toxic relationships, I was looking for reasons not to leave. Well, he was nice to me today, so maybe. So I know because of how I was. If I'm showing green flags of how there's going to be a woman in an abusive relationship who's going to say, well, my husband does number 7, so we're fine.
Yes.
I don't
want
to do that. Been there, done that. You can't bullshit the bullshitter. Okay. So that's why, every now and then I'll post a video of a couple having fun and I'm like, okay, but I feel like it will be not a good idea for my platform and the people who support my content to be seeing good things, because the people in bad relationships are going to pull bits and pieces and quilt together. Well, my relationship isn't that bad because my husband does number 1 and 2.
Yeah.
No, your husband smacked you between the washer and the dryer yesterday, but because he makes you laugh, you're going to stay. So back to me. I was doing a lot of.
Please detour.
I was doing a lot of quilting together. Like my ex-husband was abusive, but he had a sense of humor and I could laugh every now and then. So those laughs would melt away all the abusive shit that he would do to me. He was attractive. He was fine. So knowing that I had the man that everybody wanted, at least that's what they thought, that made me proud. So looking at the benefits caused me to stay. My idea of I want a 2-parent household and I'm married. That's what caused me to stay. My projections, my thoughts. But the truth was, these men don't give a shit about me. I'm getting abused. This man's gonna try to kill me soon. So once I stepped into the truth, I just view men a lot differently. People say you're going to be single. Maybe I will be. Somebody told me years ago, women who have standards tend to be single a lot longer. And not talking about you, but just
but seriously,
the divorce rate, depending on where you look, it'll say 40% one place, 50% one place. But even with those marriages that stay together, I think the statistic was like only 33% of those people are actually happy. So it's a very small percent of people who are actually happy in these marriages. And that's a campaign that I have started is telling women, stop thinking with your heart and think with your head. I know he's cute. He's so funny. Y'all love each other, but courtrooms are full of people who once thought the same thing.
Amen, girl.
I kid you not. Y'all thought y'all were going to be together forever, and now y'all hate each other. The person you marry is not going to be the person you divorce. So let's start protecting ourselves.
T-shirt, please.
Right.
T-shirt. The person you marry is not going to be the same.
Right. So I think, I'm immediately, you want my number? Why? Everybody is guilty until proven innocent. Call me bitter, call me jaded. I value my singleness too much. One of my mutuals said that the moment she accepted her husband's proposal, she said she cried because that was going to be the end of her singleness. Not that she was running around and stuff.
No.
But she said she valued her peace so much that she was like, I'm going to share my life with somebody. She loves him and everything. But her singleness was just so beautiful to her that she had to grieve that part of her life. So I feel people keep saying I'm jaded and I'm pushing love away. Absolutely not. I'm thinking with my head, I would love to meet a great guy. Don't get me wrong. I would love that. I would love it. I still flirt when I see somebody cute. I got eyes. But I'm just not going to be open to anything. That's the whole thing. And the women in my life that I have witnessed to have the healthiest relationships thought the same way, and still they will pack up their shit in a grocery bag and leave at the first sign of some bullshit. But they got men that love them, that would die for them. My mutual that mourned her singleness, there's no doubt in my mind that if she woke up one day and said we're done, her husband would implode. Like he wouldn't even know what to do. Um, so once I started just being realistic and valuing myself, I looked in the mirror this morning and I said, you know what? I'm a great woman. I am a great woman. And I believe that. And I'm not going to let anybody have me. You can't just have me. Not anybody can just have my time, my attention, a spot in my phone. I think you said your daughter is the same way.
No, like, so what? Oh no,
you're not gonna have a spot. Nope, you're not gonna have a spot in my phone. I want to get to know you, coffee date or not. I'm still. It's up in the air how I feel about that at this point. I don't know, but my time.
Like it's an interview.
My time.
Stop using the word date.
My time, my energy is valuable. My sex is valuable. Everything. I just value it. So not just anybody can have it.
Love it. I want to love it. Yes.
Right. So even if I'm single till 80, oh well, I'm happy. It's fine.
But I think it's very interesting. It was a guy recently, he is kind of viral, where he said the girlfriends who don't like men are the best girlfriends, or women who don't like men are, and I always laugh because I've been with my husband for so long. It's not like people haven't tried to like talk to you in between. People, they run a good game. Like, you could just see me on the side. I'm like, yo, don't you love you enough to not want to be the side dude? Like, I'm that person. That's my personality. I'm like, listen, I'm not great. I'm not the person you think that I am. You see me dressed up. You see me with my heels on. But have you listened to me talk at 2:00 in the morning? Do you know the shit that becomes, how weird I can be? Like, I
got a smart mouth. Like, you don't.
You know what I mean? And I always say that. I'm like, I love my husband, but if I wasn't with my husband, I would be single. I'm just that person. Like, I love, as I've gotten older, especially like after I turned probably like 37, because 37, I had a full nervous breakdown, like crying, couldn't get my shit together, questioning everything. And by the time I was 40, my marriage was like shit. It was, oh my God. Like, both of us, we'll say every once in a while, he'll look over at me and be like, yo, thank you for keeping me, because the fuck was happening. And I was like, I don't know what was happening, but I can tell you that if that life ever happened again, I don't fucking want it. Like, thank you for teaching me lessons, because there's some things, like you said before, there's some things that happen to you and you don't know why the fuck it's happening. And it feels like your life is imploding. It's ending. And there's no way you don't feel like you can grieve enough to make it better.
Right.
But the lesson that you learned was humility. I needed, not in that way. Nobody should ever have that kind of shit fucking happen to them. But I had to learn how to get off my own fucking pedestal.
Right.
And I had to learn how to accept the fact that my life wasn't good. Our marriage wasn't good. We weren't being kind to each other. We weren't talking to each other nice. We had all kinds of dysfunctional shit happening. There were like people and women and words, and I was like, and my personality is one of those, when life starts to fall apart, I am so fucking focused on the shit that's going good in my life. I'm like, my kids, they are my focus. Fuck all the rest of y'all. Work, that's my focus. Fuck, like, I need to make money. I need to take care of these kids. I need a place to live. I go back into survival mode. We need to eat, sleep, and I need to pay bills.
Right.
So all the shit is imploding around me. Monsters are chasing my ass down the street. I don't see that, because I'm like, no. But I needed to stop. And when I was turned 40, found out about an affair in my marriage, and I stopped. And I called my mom, and I was like, I told her what was happening, and I said, I need you to come to my house. I called my mother-in-law and my father-in-law. I said, need you to come to my house.
Right.
I said, because what we're going to do, you were at my wedding. I called my best friend. I'm like, you were at my wedding. When I got married, you said in front of God and everybody else that I'm going to be here to protect your marriage. What I need you to do now, I need y'all to stay in guard. Because
I love that.
We're fighting. And it was funny because I'm going to revert back to what your dad said. My husband was like, this is some of the whitest shit I've ever heard in my life. And I was like, listen, when you get married, when you get married, not on paper, when you get married in your head and in your heart, you mean that shit. So it's fucked up right now, right? It's fucked. We are at the bottom of fucked up mountain. There's nothing else. It is right. We don't have houses, we don't have water, we don't have plumbing, we got nothing. Are we going to rebuild this, or are we going to walk out? Mm-hmm. So let's survey this. So I had my mom and my mother-in-law, we all sat down. What do you guys see good about us? What good things do you see in our marriage? From an outside point of view, I know y'all love us, but y'all tell us the truth all the time.
Right.
And they broke that shit down. Is it worth us fighting for this? This thing, is it worth fighting for after finding out what we just found out? And I let my children weigh in. Mm. Do we stay together or do we separate? That's not some shit that you usually.
I love that. Love that.
But it was so fucking hard because in your heart, it's literally falling apart. So you have half of your heart is literally on cardiac arrest, and the other side of you is trying to rebuild your life.
Right.
And it conflicts with each other because nobody wants to love the person that make them hurt the most. You don't want to do that. But it's like, what do you do? Like and I'm one of those people, when I make a decision, it's a fucking decision. I'm not like wishy-washy.
That's me.
You know? So I said, okay. I said, do you want to be married? Of all the things, do you want to be married? Yes. Okay. Do you want to fight for this marriage? Because now we're at 0. I don't know you and you don't know me.
Right.
So we have to rebuild a whole different space and talk to each other different, love each other different, respect each other different.
Oh, yes.
And communicate differently, because obviously the communication that we have isn't working. Right. It's not working. And that's what we've done. And I'm not saying that it has been great all the time, because you still, as a human, you go back to, remember when I was 22, you fall off the train. You just do. You fall out of line. But knowing when and where to insert that space, like you said, I could be single right now and be a very happy, fulfilled. I love me. I love who I am, my quirks, my weird ways, my smart ways, the things that sometimes I'll be like, did anybody see that? Did anybody see that? But I love that. But my husband is the same. He loves himself like he loves himself. And together, it's a fucking party. But when it's not a party, we have a different way of communicating now. And it's way more open and honest. And I don't think that I was that way before. I don't think I was as open and honest as I thought that I was.
Right. Oh, you know what? That's another mistake I made. I didn't want to be open and honest because I was afraid I was going to lose them. But why would I want to be with somebody I can't be open and honest with? That was the stupidest fucking shit I used to do. Like, what was my logic back then?
About it, we're taught to hide so much. Mm-hmm. You know, we're raised to be these perfect individuals who get into these marriages. You know, you should always have your teeth brushed by the time your husband wakes up. Your hair should always be done. Your clothes should always be pressed. The house should always be taken together. And like you said, we all are fucking falling apart. We're folding clothes, crying into the clothes, trying to figure out how to keep shit together. And me and one of my my childhood best friends, who I consider one of my sisters, we used to call each other, and she would say, the shirt is slipping off the bed. And what that meant was, you have like rayon or silk material, and you try to fold it and you put it on the top of the pile, and then you put a shirt over top and it slides off.
Right.
You fix it again and it slides off. And then you start getting angry. And it's like my life is like a fucking silk shirt. It's a folded silk shirt and it's sliding the fuck off.
Yep.
And I'm scared to tell somebody because what if I don't look strong? What if I don't look like a good wife? What if I don't look like a stable mother? What if I don't look like a good employee? And I'm like, yo, your boss right now is sitting on the toilet taking a dump. Like you took a dump. Like,
yeah. I 100% agree. I love everything you said. And I'm converting to Judaism, and I start my classes next month. And I met this woman and she said, I just want to warn you, when they find out you're single, they're going to try to fix you up with someone. I've had 2 relationships in a year and I've gone out on this many dates, and that scared me. And now I'm at a point where I got to look at, why does that scare me? And then I'm like, okay, well, I've gone through all this shit. Okay, am I projecting my bullshit again onto a man that doesn't even exist yet? Yes, you are. You're projecting. You don't even know this dude, and you're already saying he's going to be an idiot. He might be. I don't know. But, but and then I finally come to the conclusion of, you know what? I'm not looking for it. But if a good man comes along, sure, that's totally fine with me. But I am not going to begrudge the protective part of myself. Yeah. I'm open to it, but I still have my eyes wide open. I'm not gonna let stuff slide. I'm still not gonna settle. I don't care who it is. So there was a therapist that I'm mutuals with on TikTok. He said, if you're anxious and you have all these things that you consider negative, flip it. Are you anxious because you're a single mom and you got to figure out how you're going to feed your kids? Okay, yeah, you have every right to be anxious right now. So owning, yes, I have every right to have my guard up a little bit. I'm going to get to know you, but I'm not going to put up with your bullshit. And you're not going to talk to me any other way. And everybody's still guilty until proven innocent, because I'm looking at statistics. I'm looking at the past. I'm still gonna laugh and have fun, and you could take me out. We can have some seafood or whatever. That's great.
You see her head,
but I'm still going to be on watch because I have kids and I have me, and we gotta live all we got is me at the end of the day. So you're cool and all, but you got to go if things are not going right. So just finding that perfect balance of being open and also still very much being on guard, because we can think with our hearts, but we got to keep that head in check.
Absolutely. Yeah. And your head needs to be like 65% of the conversation, because I used to say all the time, I used to love the Twitter pated stage, that beginning stage, that like, this is going to sound so raunchy, but and when you're in a relationship, as long as I've been, you have this stage in different times, but it's like as new stuff happens, but it's that stage where like all you want to do is touch, all you want to do is love. You can't pay bills, you can't sip a drink without them. You're just stuck in that space, and I love that space. But it's like at some point when your heart is all warm and fuzzy, you need your brain to be like, bitch, if we don't pay our bills, we're gonna be outside.
Right.
Like, like I need you to drink water. Like loving him is wonderful, but you're dehydrated. Like, what do you guys? Right. You can't eat this much food. You both are gaining weight at an alarming rate. Like, this is why.
And that's why friends are so important. Yes. Because I do have friends that, God forbid, I'm human. If I fall into old habits, they'll be like, okay, I'm gonna snatch you up. What the fuck is going on here? Am I going to have to block him for you? Like, we're not going back. So that's another reason why friends are so important. I know that if I ever get lost in the sauce again, somebody's going to snatch me up quick, like we in church. Somebody's going to pinch me under my...
no, please, not that memory. Not that memory.
Somebody is coming for me if I ever mess up again. So I feel really good. I feel really good about who I don't feel like my brain developed until last year. Like, I've turned 40 and something just clicked in my head. I don't know what happened. Like, I feel like
wisdom seeps in a little bit. It's like, but it's a different kind of wisdom. It's like, I feel like me over 40, I was able to forgive myself faster for the mistakes. That it was like, hey, listen, when you were 20, I would never, people say, I want to be 21 again. I would never go back to 21.
Oh, no.
No, 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 no. I'm good. I'm good. I'll take this body over 21. Like, I'm just, it's where I am. But I think that just the compassion that you find for yourself, the grace that you find for yourself, the patience that you find for yourself, and you start seeing your flaws as the attributes that they really were. Like the things that people told you were wrong about you are the exact same things that help heal you and heal other people.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't see that when we're younger, because when you're younger, all you're trying to do is climb the ladder, be the best everything, show that you can be perfect. So if anything shows that you have flaws, you have to cover that up. And we don't talk about that. Like, I know you see that, but it's not really there. We're good. That stays in the house. You know, I present myself a certain way. I used to tell people when I first started working in my profession, I work in the law field for 27 years. I was like the first like 10, 15 years, I was not a Black woman. I was a non-binary woman. I my hair was straight. I wore like the very conservative clothes. I talked a certain way. I wasn't Black or white. Everything was just like real even kill. And I hit like 27, 28, 29. And as my mom always laughed, she was like, and then the Black fell out of you. I said, I got tired. I was like, am I pretending to be Black? Like, what's happening? Mm-hmm. And part of it was, and one of the things in the Black community that we really force on our children is trying to fit in. You know, you have to.
We don't do that in this household.
We don't do that in this household. My kids I always laugh. I'm like, all of my children have either been locked up or natural pro-Black. They know, but they also have friendships that are so diverse, so very open. And we don't do that shit. But I had to break the curse. But I had to find me first. And it's interesting because my mom wasn't particularly like that. But when she saw me enter into a field, it was like, you have to fit in. She was scared for me. She went from a space where she didn't, I got, you know, it's like with the next person with the better education, you know, the next person who graduates from college and the person who graduates is a doctor, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, you have to fit in. And the spaces that I were in was not diverse. So I walked in thinking that I wasn't enough. It took 2 weeks though. I'm thinking I wasn't enough. And then within 2 weeks, I was like, oh shit, what is happening here? But it still took enough time for me to get comfortable with my womanhood, because it was still, I remember having it was an attorney. He was like, I want to say maybe like 6'5" Jewish cat who he just was slick with it. That was his thing. Like, he walked like he was slick. You know, he was just one of those people. But he cornered me in an elevator. And I think that's when the Black dropped out. But he cornered me in the elevator and took my headphones off my head and was like, who are you listening to? And you know how like your brain pauses for a minute because you're like, oh no, this shit not happening. But I swear in my head, I heard, I know this shit not fucking happening right now. And I just stopped and I said, I'm listening to Madish Yahoo, who happens to be a Jewish rapper, and he's amazing. And I said, but why did you take my headphones off my head? And he was like, come on, like, you know, we could be cool. I said, in that moment, I thought to myself, he doesn't know that I've already been sexually assaulted before. So what he's going to get out my mouth, I said, if you don't back the fuck up right now, we are going to have a different conversation. And I'm not going to HR about this part. This shit right here, you're going to be on the floor and I'm going to be walking to my desk. We're not going to do this. And he like stopped. And he said, I'm sorry. And he like, you know, gave him back my stuff. This is from the first floor to the 7th floor. Okay. And he stepped back. And every time he saw me, he just stepped out the way. Like, I said, listen, I obviously been talking too soft. Because what the fuck just happened here, that he felt like he had permission to like be in my space. I was like, somebody told you was good looking. The fuck is happening here? I'm like, I have one man that I listen to, and that's my husband. And I barely listen to him. So you better not. And I always tell my husband, the reason why we've been together for so long is because he was the first male figure, like man. My uncle who helped raise me was a gay man. Best fucking person I've ever met in my whole life. But my husband was the first like young boy who didn't try to like fetishize me, or we never talked about sex. We never talked about what my body looked like. We just talked about topics. Mm-hmm. And I know we were so young, but that like imprints on you, and it shows the kind of person you're going to talk to. And throughout the time that we've been together, all my body shapes, pregnancies, all the stuff, he never made me feel like who I was as an individual was anything less than what he remembered when we were younger. So that like helped out. But when men come at me, I'm like, sir, I have self-esteem, bitch. Like, I mean, yes, I got stretch marks and a whole bunch of other things, but that's my life. So like you said, like people just coming into your life, just like I'm happy you can take me out on a date. That's like the bottom.
Right.
Like,
I take myself out all the time. So okay.
You can drive a car. I can drive a car too. Oil change. I can get my oil changed too.
Right.
Like, I had a man say to me one time trying to be impressive. He was like, and this car has mirrors. Joules, I left the car dealership. I stopped talking and got in my fucking car.
Oh my God.
Because I thought to myself, did he tell me? I said, I know that the car has mirrors, but do you know anything about the engine? And he stopped, and my husband said, I told you don't talk to her. I told you don't talk to her because she's not that kind of person. I'm like, it has mirrors? Congratulations.
You really thought you were dumb. That's insane to me.
I was like, if I could turn into one of those animes when they like go back and you see like their bodies like that's off the ground.
Yeah, I know.
Oh my God. I said I would have came back down and
yeah, I know. I have those moments. I have those moments all the time where I have those thoughts.
Let's go to something good before we have to hang up real quick. What's something you accomplished that you're extremely proud of? Extremely like?
My social media platform, because I had been saying for years, way back, like I'm gonna be an influencer, like I'm gonna be a content creator. I know it, and I have no followers, and people think I'm crazy. They were laughing at me back then, and now that I have a bigger platform, everybody's trying to follow me and tell me how they always believed in me, and I ignore it, act like I don't see it. I'm like, oh, no, you didn't. No, you didn't. If you say that, you didn't. You never did. No. And then it would have to be that, and it would have to be the fact that I'm able to take care of myself. I see a lot of content now I don't know what's going on, where I hear women say, I don't understand, all these women saying they don't need a man. I need a man. I hate paying bills. And I'm like, I mean, I get it. You know, we live in a capitalist society. Most of us are hustling. Some of us are working 2 or 3 jobs. However, I kind of like this. I like my freedom. I like the option. I like dating because I want to, not because I have to. I like the fact that I can tell somebody to go the fuck home if they're getting on my nerves. I enjoy it. Maybe there's something wrong with me. I'm not obsessed with my man. I can live without it. I could take it or leave it. But I like the fact that I'm able to take care. I love it. Even back when I was struggling, because there have been times when I thought I was going to die. There were times I didn't even want to be here. I wanted to end my life. The only reason I stayed was I didn't want to leave my kids. Even in those moments, I did not want a man. So that should tell you where my mind is. But I'm proud of, I look around all the time. I'm like, I paid this light bill. I paid the rent. I got that food. I paid my car note. I paid my gas. I paid my credit card off. Like, that is one of my favorite pastimes, is paying my bills and overpaying.
You went too far.
One of my favorite things to do is overpay my bills. The feeling of having a credit, I like doing that. So everybody, all these women are like, I don't like it. I need a man. I'm like, I'm fine. I paid my bill. I don't care.
I'm like,
I
I tell
love it.
people all the time, I want my man. I'm cool. I was a my man when I was younger, but I've been my man with the same my man for a long time. And that's not a flex. That is hard work and some patience and learning from my mistakes, because I think sometimes in relationships it has to be one person doing something wrong. And it's both of us. We're in this relationship together. Like, I'm a living, breathing person, and I'm not, like, for me, I'm not with somebody because I'm weak. I'm with somebody because I'm strong and they're strong. I could not have a man who said yes, babe, to everything. Oh my God. Like, I need you to challenge me, because I'll have us out here bungee jumping with no fucking you like, Lisa, what so the other day I was thinking, and he'd be like, yes. I'm like, no. Backbone babes, I'm gonna need you to be like, you've gone too far.
Right. I agree, because I don't want to be submissive, but I don't want a yes man.
No.
I don't want to just be told, yeah, sure, whatever you. I don't. Like, that's worse than submission to me. I don't want that. I want us to be balance ideas off of each other, because sometimes I do say stupid shit, and I want somebody to be like,
call me
maybe
out,
not that,
but respectfully. Call me out,
like,
or
just be like, maybe not that, but here's what we can do, but we can't do that. Let's do, that's what I would enjoy, and vice versa, and intellectual conversation. I want
it's so wonderful.
A companion, not because I desperately want. I don't desperately need you. You don't desperately need me. But we can be companions and friends. That is my ideal relationship. If I ever get one, I really don't think I'm the relationship type person. I just don't see myself ever getting into a relationship.
But you know what? I think that if you ever decide to date somebody, they're going to have to really be interviewed thoroughly. In the sense of, we're not dating for a minute. We're interviewing each other to see if we even have the capacity to be.
I'm gonna take him on live and have everybody.
Oh shit! Oh,
I'm gonna have a live on TikTok.
Please look, just send me a message, because I'm gonna I'm making me some popcorn.
Everybody can interview it. Oh, I'm dead ass serious.
I know you are.
You know what? I was telling one of my friends a long time ago. I said, when you have been taken advantage of, sometimes it's okay to say, you know what? There are times when I really don't trust my own judgment. And can you step in and kind of see what I'm missing? So I'm serious. If I ever get another man, he will be on TikTok live at, I don't know, 11 o'clock Central Standard Time. And everybody will ask him questions. If he doesn't want to do it, we can't be together. I'm serious. Like, I am so protective of my peace. Absolutely. And who is in my space, who is in my body, not to be gross.
No, that's so really
protective
honest.
of all that. I cannot go back to how I used to be. So yes, everybody is all hands on deck when I get to another relationship. I'm gonna be like, hey, I got a few people I need you to talk to. As a matter of fact, I got about 475,000 people I need you to talk to.
Look, she got about a million people, because you got people who follow you who don't follow you. Because you got a lot of people who follow you who don't follow you. They're not gonna hit follow, but they get all the updates.
They watch. I'm gonna text you and be like, hey, I'm dating this guy. I'm gonna need you to ask him some questions, because I don't have a good relationship with my mom, and my dad, we didn't get close until much older, and he had a stroke, so he can't really communicate. So I've never had these parental figures over me. So I rely on my friends to kind of watch out for me and make sure I'm not making bad decisions. So yeah, I think it's a fun thing, and I think the right guy will laugh it off and think it's a fun thing too.
And I think it's a smart idea. They always tell you, know what you don't know. Like, just if there are some things that you will say, I know this. I'm a 100%, I got this. And then being able to say, I have no clue what this is, or I'm very unsure. This is like a weak space for me. And being able to let people in your life that care about you and want to see you well take over that space is such a beautiful, open thing. That's what vulnerability looks like. Like that's what strength looks like. The strength to sit back and not be right. Like that is huge. And let me say, sidebar, if you are letting somebody dig in your back, be all up in your body, and you can't have a goofy moment with them, you can't be silly with them, you can't cry with them, you can't let them see the weird parts of you, should they be there? Because there are worse things that can happen to you than pregnancy. Think about that.
Oh,
there are worse things that can happen to you than pregnancy. My best friend was like, she told she was in college, she was an older when she went to finish college, and she was there with like the 21, 22, like 20-year-olds, and the girl was talking about sleeping with this guy, and he was trash. The guy was trash.
Right. And
my best friend says to her, "There's worse things than pregnancy." And the girl was like, "What do you mean?" And she was like, HIV, syphilis, gonorrhea.
Yep.
He could give you cancer, like HPV. There are certain things that you can't live. And let's just remember, spiritually, when you letting somebody dig into your back and release them little babies, their body now mixed with your body. Right. And you need to, their spirit stays with you longer, and who you lay with counts. So if you can't be you, all of you that you know about, because sometimes weird stuff pop out and you be like, oh, I didn't know that was in there. But if you can't be that person, like you're not living your fullest life. You're not being your authentic self. And your authentic self is going to change so much over time that you need somebody who's willing to work with you and go through life with you and be fun with you and be sad with you, like have all the emotions and be logical with you, because you need a logical person in your life to be like, no, we cannot buy this Bentley. We cannot.
We can't. What you mean we can't?
Like what you say, the car note only $1,500. If I get an extra part-time job, no, baby.
And sometimes I get a smart mouth. So I need somebody to respectfully be like, hey, we're not going to talk to each other like that. Like, don't cuss me out. Don't slap me. But be like, hey, we're not going to talk to each other. Like, because sometimes I do have a smart ass mouth. I can be petty.
Look, Petty Betty is my bestest friend. Petty Betty is my bestest
Petty LaBelle.
friend.
I am Petty LaBelle.
I'm like, my husband always say, he's like, I'm competitive, because he will, I'm like, what did you say out your mouth to somebody like that? Competitive? That's what we doing?
That's me.
Stop it. Now, last question. Have your goals and dreams changed over time?
Yes, they have. Yes, they have. I used to always have this, I wanted to be a big actress. And I was acting up until the pandemic. And then I started social media. That's when everybody kind of hopped on TikTok. And for the longest time, I would beat myself up like, well, I should be auditioning, and I should be going to acting classes, and I should be doing this, but this is kind of taken over and I really like this. And finally I had to be like, this is just the path I'm on right now, and that's okay. Everybody's road to wherever they want to go isn't going to look the same. Maybe it's meant for this person to hit the pavement and audition every day. Maybe it's meant for me to do my social media and somebody will happen upon a video that way, because I've got a lot of opportunities just from this.
I believe you.
So just taking ownership of, this is my journey, and that is okay that it doesn't look like this person's journey. It doesn't look like Halle Berry's journey. It doesn't look like Viola Davis's journey. That's okay. This is where I'm at. This is where the opportunities lie for me. It doesn't have to be like everybody else in order for it to be successful. And that's something that I've really had to come to grips with, because I still have a lot of actor friends who are acting and they're doing the auditions, they're doing it. And I have to always make that decision to remind myself, this is where I am at right now. This is what is working for me right now. Their hard work up next to my hard work doesn't mean I'm working less because they're auditioning 5 times a day. Me making content 5 times a day it's a whole different type of hard work.
It's a whole different type of hard work.
And there are a lot of actors who would do anything for my platform. I got actor friends who've been acting for 10, 20 years, and they maybe have 200 people subscribed to them or following them. They would love to trade places with me. And so it's just accepting my journey might be different, but that doesn't mean it's any less. And that doesn't mean it's a failure. It's just how life is rolling right now. And that's okay.
And I love it. And that all stems back to you telling the truth. The brashness that you hear about, the being too much, you're too open, but you're opening yourself up and allowing people to see your successes, your failures, and learn from those things and also feel connected, because I want to see a woman who has been through things and still has lightheartedness in her, who still has a bright disposition, a woman who still can curse you from the top to the bottom, but pray over you and keep you safe. Like being able to see all these different stages and diversity within a complex woman, because I think when you look at social media, it would make you think that you need to be this, like, I don't even know. I think you're an AI. I think that's what they want. They want an AI woman, because like from like 9 o'clock at night until like 5 in the morning, you gotta be like super freaky and crazy. And then like in the daytime, you gotta go to church all day, but somehow be very submissive, but not submissive so that you can't take care of the kid. I don't know. I would lose my mind if I'm glad I'm the age that I am, because I see this stuff and it makes me giggle. Like when I see, I'm like, tell me you haven't been in a long-term relationship without telling me you haven't been in a long-term. Tell me you have never had to negotiate within your relationship. But like, if this woman can't clean, cook, if she can't clean my shoes, take care. If this man can't pay all my bills, I'm like, why is he paying all your bills? Like,
you know what? I posted a video. I'm glad you said that on YouTube the other day where I said, listen, here's the honest truth. Sprinkle, sprinkle. All right, good. Sometimes I like her videos too, but the reality is most of us are going to end up with somebody in our same wage gap due to proximity. Both of y'all are going to have to work. At the very least, you're going to have to work part-time. Even if you stay home, it's only going to be for a little while, and you might still have to find a way to supplement your income. Like trying to get people to be realistic. There are plenty of good men who are teachers and coaches, managers at AutoZone, and that's okay.
They get paid $75,000 a year. Now I know $75,000 a year does not feel like a lot to a lot of people, but if you are dating somebody who's in their 20s or 30s, just kind of starting out, and they make $75,000 a year, that's really amazing job. Like we gotta get back to reality salaries. Like, okay, yes, $160,000 would be amazing, and 200,000, amazing.
I would love to marry a doctor. Hey,
right? But if you're both are just starting out, you're coming out of college, even if you're in your 30s, because sometimes you've had a rough start, and your life doesn't start until 25. You might not have been able to get into college until you were 27 or 30. Like, you know, there's so many things. You have a lot of the generation. I wouldn't say, if you probably the age of maybe 33 and up, we were a part of like that crack generation, the drugs, war on drugs, where you're no matter race and or color at this point, where you had family members who were on drugs. You had to fight to save your family's home or lost your home. You went through homelessness. Maybe somebody went to jail. You had a late start getting your footing. And now you're 30, 40, 50, starting to go to college. Your career is going to reflect, your life's going to reflect where your income is. And it's okay to be there. And don't be ashamed because you're not making six figures. You're not a millionaire at 22. People.
Right.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Money can make you happy. Okay?
Right.
It can. However, building your own life, like Joules said, she can take care of, she has the security and the sanity and the safety of knowing that she can take care of herself. If anything should happen, she physically, mentally, and emotionally can get her shit taken care of for her kids and her children. That is a wonderful fucking place to be. But if the both of y'all can do that and you come together, it's a different life.
Yeah, I think this mindset of I got to marry a millionaire if that's really what you're wanting, I think a lot of women are going to be single a long time because we're just not in proximity to that kind of money, you know. And I used to have friends who were chasing that. They had to marry a millionaire. They were always broke because you got to spend money to get money. You got to pay for the courtside seats. You got to pay to get the hair done. You got to pay for the designer labels to look the part. You got to pay for the car to look the part. You got to pay admission to be where the millionaires are. And they were always broke and always still single.
Mm.
If I'm going to meet a doctor, it's going to be by sheer happenstance. I don't have time to be chasing up around. No, I'm not doing it.
I don't even want to be a part of the pull the hours. I mean, you got how many days you're gonna be working 16 hours, and I have how many kids in my house? Sorry, son. I love you, but I was not set up for this. I tell people all the time, I was not meant to be a stay-at-home mom.
I did it. We'll never do it again.
That was not I'm not knocking it because I think it's fucking hard work. But
I just can't do it.
I'm not cut out for that. I was like, right. I needed time when people call me by my name. I needed time to ride in the car and listen to songs with curse words. I wanted to eat a burger in the car in the parking lot by myself without them digging in my fingertips. Just what are you?
Right. I did it, and I know it's hard, and I will never do it again, ever. I can't. I will never do that again. I know it's hard work. It's a lot. And there's people who are like, well, it's not a stay-at-home parent, it's a domestic engineer. And I'm like, listen, I don't give a fuck what you call it. People aren't going to respect it regardless of what you call it. So let's get over the bullshit. Stay-at-home parent, mom, dad, whoever. It's a lot of work. It should be respected, but I never want to do it again. It was just too much for me to handle.
I agree with you. And I love, one, you're breaking down barriers, you're telling the truth, you're having conversations that we all need to have. And again, if people can't accept what you're saying, it may not be, you can always scroll. It's this thing when you do like this.
People's hands are broke for some reason. I don't know what's going on.
You can, and if you have that little button, you can just back out on the side right here, and then you don't have to listen to it. But I appreciate your honesty. I appreciate your humor. Like, I love your sense of humor because it's like dainty dark. It's not all the way dark. Like, it's still like, but it's a little dark, and I love it. I love it because that's me. Like, I want to be as real. I want to be in the real world as possible, but still be able to fantasize about what I want and where I want to be and have an imagination. I love when you do your makeup tutorials because you look like your inner child, like your inner teenager is so in it. And I love when you do that. It just brings me joy.
I bought myself a mood ring.
Like, because think about it, you had to heal those parts of you in order to accept them as an adult now and put that out on the internet. And I think that is just, and the fact that you have the patience to fucking do makeup and then put on clothes and still make a whole video.
I don't do it every day.
But you do it way more. Yesterday I did a video and I said, I love beauty influencers. I'm not cut out to be one. By the time I get dressed, I'm hot, I'm angry, I've had a hot flash, I'm sweating. I can show you how to do some beautiful eyebrows. I can give you a good lip, but I'm gonna be dressed. I'm gonna be fully dressed. I can't do an Amazon haul because I'm hot. I'm hot. And you in Texas, so you know what heat look like. You know, y'all be having the 155 degree days. I don't know how you still smiling. Are you okay? Blink twice, because it's crazy.
No, not okay. Not okay. Not okay.
I appreciate you coming and talking to me. I wanted to talk to you for a long time, and I was a little embarrassed to ask because I was like, I'm just like a little account, and she doesn't really know me.
Oh my
I did. I was. But this is the thing. It's all in perception, right? Because I think I value content creating in a way that maybe other people don't, because a lot of my friends are artists. And I know how much energy it takes. I know how much mental space it takes. And I know what it feels like to talk to yourself, talk to the camera and be by yourself for hours. It's a lot to do. I don't, people like, it's just content creation. I'm like, Do you know how much goes into content? The editing by itself, listening to yourself talk consistently and cutting out the parts and trying to make it work out, and it's a lot. But I was like, I'm gonna reach out, and I'm not afraid to hear no. I'm just not one of those people. I'm like, I used to be like that when I was younger. But I was like, I'm gonna reach out. And every time we've spoken to each other, even through our comment section or whatever, it's always just been like a cool ass friend. Just like, I hear you, I see you, I got you. And I love that, because you don't get that all the time. Like, sometimes people be like, eh. I'm like,
I can't. I don't think I'm I mean, we're all human. I just don't think I'm capable of acting like that. I just, my grandma Ethel would come back from her grave and
oh, you
probably
sound like me, and just, I'm like, don't.
she's
Oh no,
country
wait a
as
minute, we're gonna get
hell.
pinched under the arm. That's what we're gonna get.
No, she was the get a switch from the tree grandma.
No, I don't want that grandma. My mama used to try to do that. I'm like, oh, you got one time in your whole life to touch me like that. We ain't doing that never again.
Yeah, I look like her. She's the reason why I do my hair the way I do my hair, because I honor everything about her. I've been so criticized about my hair. People think I don't want to be Black. I love being a Black woman. I love being a part of this sorority. Trust me. It's just I like doing my hair like that because I love my grandma so much. She did a lot for me.
What you gotta get over this Black hair thing.
I know.
It's diversity, people.
I get a comment probably once every day. You need to stop flat ironing. You need to stop. You need to do dip. It's like, whatever. But they don't know my story. I'm not. First of all, there's no way I can hide being Black. I am. That's just it. Second of all, I'm proud of it. I talk about our matters all the time.
It's okay. It's okay. Calm down. Calm down.
So yeah, but yeah, it's just my grandma wouldn't allow that. I don't think it's in me. People have to remind me, like, don't you understand you have 400 and some of it? I'm like, that's right. I do. Okay. And what? I don't know.
Yes. And if I can respond, and you do, I see you in your comment section all the time. You try to respond to as many people as possible. You are always cordial, unless you don't have to be, which is when I giggle, because but
there are times.
Not everybody is like me. Not everybody can like, and then like walk away. Because I'm like, sometimes you be like, you deserved it. Like, you act stupid. What do you want in this? What? You really thought you was gonna go on her platform and say something shady and not have one? If it's not you, your followers will get your person. Oh, they're great. They're great. They're in there. Like, I was like, ooh, you got a dissertation, sir. Somebody started typing 3 tops in. Like, but still, it's like, and I love being able to connect with people who have just positive energy in their spirit. It makes me happy. I love when you love you, because it shows when you loving other people, like it comes out that way. And that's one of the biggest reasons why I did this podcast, to be able to have conversations and to have people learn from each other. And you have so much to teach. You have so much. I'm waiting for your book. This is, you're the 3rd person. Now, I had one guy who was like, he can sing his face off, but he got kind of like jaded by music. I'm like, okay, so I called him out. You need to sing. Another lady who's writing a book, I was like, you said you was dropping it in October, so I'll see you in October. So you better start writing that book, because we know you got about 4 or 5 books in there. 4 or 5.
I think 4 so.
Or 5.
I think so too. Yeah.
Especially a beautiful self-help book. I think a self-help journal, you could really but like a real in your face, this is how you're gonna do it self-help book.
A shot of tequila.
No, we can't. Look, if you can still do tequila.
No, yeah.
I can't. The tequila, it smelled different. It smelled different now.
I haven't even had a drink in like 2 years. I started it because I wanted to. I never drank that much anyway. But I was like, I'm gonna eliminate these foods so I can lose these pandemic pounds. And then I never started back again. So
I did that with chicken. August was taking out chicken. And then this month I'm gonna take out beef. And it's not really a meat thing. It's just discipline, because you have to be disciplined. There's the things that I like the most is what I take away from myself just every once in a while. Because I'm like, I mean, yes, I should take away brownies. Haven't made it there yet. Haven't made it there yet. I love brownies. Love them. They make me.
I get it. Wings does that to me.
Oh. And I'm like, and I miss chicken. I'm not gonna lie. 31 days without one chicken meal felt wrong. It felt wrong. I felt wrong. And I'm one of those people always say, I'm black, but I don't like watermelon.
Oh my God.
Which throws people off. I love that. Like, so if you're black, you should love watermelon. I'm like, but I like beets. that's different. Yeah, see?
Okay.
But I tell people all the time, like, giving up chicken for me wasn't a black thing. That was like torture. I'm like, you know how many meals you can make out of a chicken dish? Like, but I gave up poultry in general. Brown turkey, duck, chicken. Look at your face. You see how you looked at me? You said, what is wrong with you? But I remember you did like a meatless month one time.
I actually went vegan once for 4 months back in 2018. And it was really, I enjoyed it. But I had to stop because I was losing weight and I had to stop losing weight.
Okay.
So I started eating protein, dairy and all that. Yeah. But I did have a meatless October.
I remember.
And because my body,
us how to make different meals and different things that you were putting together.
Yeah, my body's in a different place, so it didn't respond to it the same as it did years ago. But yeah, it was good.
But I remember that. And
that's one thing I'm learning about my body.
Yes.
It's changing. How things happen in my 20s and 30s is just different now.
Yeah, I'm in perimenopause right now, so it's different.
Yeah.
It's different. She is busy. Perry is busy. She is living her fullest, best life. She gave me these girls that I appreciate.
I got boobs too.
I know.
I never had these.
But she also gave me a little mid. She gave me a little mid section that does not disappear. You know, she's a part of this. She said, if you want me to balance you out. I said, okay. She also gave me an attitude, you know, little things. I'm just working it out. But no, honestly, I appreciate your time. I know you got things. It's a Sunday. You got self-care Sunday. I know you going to shut it down, make some good videos, give people some what they want, and then go disappear with your babies. You're 18 and 16. Woo! Woo!
We're going to have to do another episode about that because I need advice.
I definitely want to. You tell me when you're ready. And
anytime.
Because mine's are 21, will be 21, 23, and 26. And it's different. That last child, that baby.
All I'm going to say is I used to complain that infancy was difficult, not sleeping, crying. No, this phase is what makes my uterus dry up. I'm done.
Mine is gone. So
this phase is like
the worrying. The worrying for me, like I want them to be wonderful people and I want them to feel comfortable in their skin. But I remember that age and it's hard to feel that way. And going through it, because when you reliving your childhood with their childhood at the same time. Like when you were 16, you like, what?
No. Yeah, I need all the advice. I need people to lay hands on me. I'm going through it. So whenever you have time, you let me know because I got shit to unload.
Yeah. Look, people, you hear we're gonna reschedule and we're gonna talk about parental things. And yes. We're gonna have to call somebody in. You gotta find somebody who also talks about parenthood. Okay. We need to do a 3-way. We need to do a 3-way. And I think we could do that. But thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for being you. I know that you feel like I shouldn't feel so blessed, but I feel like every conversation is a blessing. But especially getting to talk to a woman who has lived a life and can still see the light in other people is big for me. It's so huge for me. So I appreciate that. And
thank you for having me.
Thank you. And you go do all the things you do best. Okay. Which is telling the truth. Punch somebody, girl. Punch them with your words.
All right. Well, thanks for having me. I had a really good time.
Thank you, sweetheart. I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you so much for joining us. We hope you found some healing, connection, and joy. Until next time, bye, loves.